Thank you everyone for being here. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's the second time. I was last year here and this is the second time. So I see like from the last year to this year, so this thing is increasing. So today I'm here to talk about e-mobility or electromobility. And more of you are power engineers, right? And what is the impact of e-mobility in power systems? So I would like to start with these two pictures. So on the left, you see a picture of the 5th Avenue in New York. And you can see like most of the cars are horse cars, right? You can see. But there is two exceptions here. There are some two automobiles, right? This four, the first automobile car. On the right-hand side, so you have the same avenue, the same street, and it is full of automobiles, but there is only one horse. Yeah, and you can see like this is huge difference between these two pictures, right? And my question here is, how many years do you think there are in between these two pictures?
20.
20 years, 10 years. Yeah, you are more or less okay. So it was 13 years. But if you ask those guys who were running these horses at this time, this was at the very beginning. It was 1900. And if you ask them, like in 13 years, so you will have no horse cars anymore. So everything will change. So they will tell you like you are crazy, right? Because we were running horses for hundreds of years. We were using horses for hundreds of years. But it only took like 13 years. And what happened? So when you have a new technologies, so there is this, what is called this S-curve. Like at the very beginning, you have a very little adopter of this technology, but as the time passes, so you can see some kind of exponential growth, kind of this coronavirus, right? And then you have some plateau, right? So they stabilize. And this, well, what happened from here to here, so this is time, and it could be like few years or maybe hundreds of years. And well, we have some examples from other technologies like TVs, telephones, credit cards, internet, digital cameras. So you have all of them more or less have the same shape. It's called S-curves. And they look almost everything the same. So you can see like the big difference here, like those are very close to now, where tablets, smartphones, internet, the adoption of these technologies took maybe like 5 to 10 years. So we see like every time we are adopting new technologies faster than never before. So this is important because, well, I'm here to talk about e-mobility. Here you have a picture of a combustion engine. So you have more than hundreds of pieces, and this is how it looks like an electrical motor. So an electrical motor actually is very simple. So building electrical cars are very simple. It's not really big deal. So and the new cars, most of them they are software. So the most important thing are software. You can even update with the time. Okay. Yeah. And there is some trending now in the world. So you can see a lot of news. You have seen like, for example, like Amazon is going to buy like 100,000 of vans for delivery. All of them they are electrical one. And you can see like Waymo, this is a startup that now have been bought by Google. They want to have manless or driverless taxis, so you don't have any taxi driver. And it will be possible if we have the right regulation. You can see also Tesla is thinking to offer not only electric vehicle but offer service of mobility, like the same of Yandex Taxi can do or Uber. And we can see like many of the car makers like Ford, so they are also thinking about to switch to no car making, but to offer service of mobility. And this is important. Well, also you have some other example, like in Shenzhen in China. So they fully replace all the buses for electrical one. You can see here in Moscow, probably you have seen some electrical bus, and we see like there is some trading. And they are replacing them because not probably because they are very commit with the environment, but also because they are they can make profit out of that. So this is cheaper now to run some electrical buses. It's cheaper than using the traditional one. So we see like now we are in a very important point in the moment when all of you will see like this change from this traditional combustion engine or traditional combustion cars to electrical one. Okay, so just give me, I will give you some numbers, like one electrical vehicle with the charger level 3, which is kind of fast charger. It will need like 120 kilowatts, right? So 10 of them is 1.2 megawatts, right? And you can imagine like one nuclear power plant, a big, large power plant is about 1 gigawatt, right? So you can see like if we have like 10,000 electric vehicles charging at the same time, so it requires like the capacity of one nuclear power plant. So for every 1 million, we will need 100 nuclear power plants, just to have a rough idea. If all of them, they are charging at the same time, of course. Right? But this is the capacity that you can have more or less. In terms of energy, so how much energy electrical needs, so I'm making some very rough raw numbers. So you have, for example, like 15 kilowatt hour for every 100 kilometers. So this is typical consumption of an electrical car. For example, this Tesla Model 3. In average, so you can, I found some data like in average people usually have like 15,000 kilometers a year. So it means like for 1 year, so the consumption of one electric vehicle can be 2.25 megawatts. If we go for 1 million of vehicles, so it's like about 2,250 gigawatts. And if I'm asking you, this is too much or too little, 1 million? So you can think like for every 4 million of electric vehicles in Russia, it will means like the overall demand in Russia, it will increase for 1%. Just 4 millions of vehicles. So 4 millions of vehicles is not so many in Russia. So in Russia, you have right now around almost 52 millions of automobiles. Of course, not all of them they are going to switch to electrical one, but just a number like if you have like 20% of them, they are electric vehicles, maybe in 5 years or in 10 years. So it will require like an increase of 2.6% of the demand. And this is quite a lot for Russia specifically, in particular. So you have buses, well, commercial ones, commercial automobiles, there are around 8 millions. And those commercial automobiles, actually, they are more likely to change to electrical ones, like because the number, basically, the economy. And this could represent like 2% of the total demand in Russia. And if we go just to Moscow, I was checking how many cars are in Moscow, so there are about 7.7 million registered. But in the street, you have about 3.5 millions every day in the streets. This is why there is this chaos of traffic in Moscow. And if you think about like, well, maybe only 1% of these 3.5 millions are charging at the same time. So how much will be the power that you need? So it's around 3.5 gigawatts, right? And it means like this is more or less about 3 nuclear power plants the size. And it will require to increase the capacity of transmission lines or the distribution lines. It's actually represents a huge challenge. And this is now what is called like, well, this artificial peak, like you have some profile of demand, daily profile. And people, when they go home, so they plug the car and then they charge the car, right? And then you can create an artificial peak at the night. So depending how much is the penetration of the electric vehicles, so you can increase this peak, right? So now there is new problems if these electric vehicles start to increase, but also there are some new possibilities that we can use these electric vehicles for the smart charging. So in somehow we can use those batteries. So at the same time we have 3.5 gigawatts for this 1%. So for charging, so we can also use for providing services to the network. And it means like, well, we have available 3.5 gigawatts of capacity for doing anything that we need, like frequency control, to restart from a blackout, right? Whatever is needed. Okay. So there is new technologies means new problems, but also there are new opportunities, right? And problems, so how countries have started to deal with that. I'm giving you, for example, one. I'm coming from Spain, so this is why I'm giving so much reference from Spain. So in Spain, they started to create a control system or control center, just to monitor what happened with the electric vehicles. We don't have too many electric vehicles in Spain right now, but they started to build this control center like a system operator, just to understand what will be the forecast of the energy that all those electric vehicles will need, and what is the real one. So there's one step for doing that. And so we can actually do a smart charging in a different way. So we can just say like, well, you connect your electrical vehicles, and then we send a signal from the grid, and the signal say when your vehicle starts to charge, right? So you say, I want my vehicle fully charged at 7 in the morning before going to work, and then the signal actually say when to charge this vehicle. This is smart. And we can see like vehicle to grid in both ways. So we can use energy that we have in vehicle just to produce some services to the grid. And this is not crazy. Actually, this is happening in so many countries right now. But we have no really, many countries doesn't have a quite big number of cars, but we are expected to have in the next year exponential growth of these electric vehicles. Well, you can use also in your home. And these opportunities, so for example, I'm giving you some examples in Italy, Netherlands, United Kingdom, Denmark. They already have some regulation that allows that you can plug and you can use your vehicle to provide services to the grid, right? And you can make, for example, for doing frequency regulation up to 1,400 euros a year per every electric vehicle that you have. And there's some number also in Spain. So in Spain, well, the prices are not so competitive, but you can have like 600 euros a year for every electric vehicles. Yeah, so you can see like there is some regulations, and if there is regulation allows you to use the vehicles just to provide those services, so you can get money, make profit out of that. Yeah, this is another example. I've been working with one of my students. Is just, well, we try to combine transportation layer, the routing problem, with the electrical grid. So remember, so that we can have some problem of congestions if we are not managing in the right way the charging. So this is a downtown Manhattan in the United States, and you can see like every small dot here is a customer that they are demanding some transportation, like a taxi. You can think of a taxi, and those triangles, they are electrical charger. And in this right-hand side, so you have electrical demand, the classical electrical demand that you can see. So how you combine these two layers at the same time? How can we think about the routing of electric vehicles in such a way that we are not congesting the network? So this can be possible. So we were doing some models for that. We were actually proving that actually this coordination of both transportation and electric grid can bring some benefit for the electrical grid itself, right? It's not only for congestion, also, well, you can see here there are kind of reduction of pollution and other kind of emission. So I would like to finish with that, so I don't have too much time, then we have time for questions. So the electrical grid of the future, so is expected to have a lot of actors, a lot of distributed resources. Not only those renewable generation that we have been always hearing, like during the last year, so there's a lot of renewable generation, but they are coming, but they are not so fast. But we are expecting to have also a lot of electric vehicles in the coming years. So how we can actually deal with those electric vehicles, with thousands or millions of electric vehicles. So there are new opportunities and new business models to use all these distributed resources in such a way, being smart in somehow, right? Yes, my conclusion is how we can take advantage of that is, well, we have to look at technologies. Technologies are right now mature. So we see like electric vehicles are competitive in price. Not these luxury electric vehicles, but there are many other electric vehicles that are competitive in price. So technology is in here right now, so we will expect that. We need also some other kind of technologies, but also it's important regulations. I haven't talked about regulation, but regulation is an important point because even if you have electric vehicles here in Russia and you don't have incentive to connect your electric vehicles to frequency regulation because you don't get any profit out of that, so it will not happen, right? So you have to create this regulation environment or these new policies in such a way that you have the right incentive, so you can deal with that. And I know here in Russia also they are looking about how you can do this capacity adequacy from demand, but also electric vehicles could be a good option for that. I think I'm finishing here, so thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation, and you told a lot about capacity of power plants, that we have to increase capacity of power plants, but we have also to distribute this power in cities, along the roads, and for how much we have to increase capacity of networks to attach charging plants, charging stations to them, and can we attach these stations to existing distribution networks, or we should build a new one?
So, well, you know, like most of these electric vehicle chargers are at the distribution network. Yeah, so almost very close to the consumption with the demand. So this means like we have to reinforce from the distribution up to the generation of the, unless you are thinking about some smart way of using this energy or charging locally. So if you have, not in Russia, but there are many countries they're very committed with the renewable generation, and then there are communities they are investing in PV panels, and then they can use this excess of energy from this PV panel for charging, right, in a smart way. So in that case, so you will not need to update or to increase the capacity of the lines, right? Because you are producing and consuming locally in the same place. But I don't think like this is very complicated to make some numbers. Like this is a technical problem. Like where do you have these electric vehicles? Where do you have your chargers? What is the power of your chargers? So you can start to make the numbers, right?
Yeah. Then next question: what time it takes to charge a vehicle? Because if I can charge a car only for night, that means that charging stations should be close to houses, to sleeping areas, and can I charge my vehicle somewhere on the road?
Yes, this is actually possible. So there are different. Chargers are classified in different levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. So level 3 basically is that there are those superchargers or fast chargers. So you can charge like, and this is a little bit tricky. So they are telling you, like this Tesla, they are telling you you can charge 80% of the full load of the battery up to 80%, more or less in between 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? So of course the first 18% is much more easy than the last 20%. That usually takes more. So this is one of the ways you can charge on the way that you're using that. You can charge in your office. You can go to a shopping mall, and then you can charge doing the shopping in the shopping mall. So you can. So you can think about there could be a lot of new business, like for example, you go a shopping mall, you leave your car, charge it there, and then you say, well, the shopping mall can offer you like to have fully charge your electric vehicle and free parking, but they can start to use your electric vehicle for doing frequency regulation. So you give the right? So they get money for doing frequency regulation, and usually it's during the peak time, so and you also get some benefit from that because you can have fully charged your electric vehicle and you don't have to pay parking, right? So think about shopping mall, or you can think about offices, right? So there are plenty of ways for doing new business on that. And yes, so it could take like about, this fast charge can take half an hour, but this is slow charger that you can actually implement in your house. It could take about maybe 8 to 10 hours or sometimes more, right? Depends on the capacity of your vehicle.
How the bills will be paid? If a man stops his car and enters for shopping, for example, and he's charging his car during shopping time, who will pay for the charging bills? In the end, it's electricity consumption.
It's electricity
and
consumption.
Somebody will pay for it. It is like a card. It's like a charging card, or how come it will?
Yeah. So
the government will pay for that, or
no. So there are new actors in many places. So sometimes they call aggregators, virtual power plants. So there are new actors that they make business between the customers and the electricity markets. So you can think about, well, I will make my own company that will offer these services to the customer who is that owns electric vehicles, and I will be in charge to go to the electricity market just to sell this energy for doing arbitrage, just buying cheap, then selling expensive, or for doing frequency regulation. Like for example, I mentioned before some case studies, like in Denmark. This is possible right now. And then the customer doesn't want to worry about that. So you are not going, as a customer, if you own your electric vehicle, you don't want to go to the market and then look at, well, with the phone, now I have to sell now. Yes, you go, and then, yes, this is the company, so I just give you the rights by the connection, and then with some agreement that you can use my battery, but I want fully charge my car when I leave in the shopping mall or when I leave in from the office, right? When I'm going back to home, I want fully charged. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One question, thank you.
You mentioned in your presentation that some numbers of a lot of different transports in Russia, like autobuses, cars, and also you've shown us a graphics of adaptation to such new technology. And by your prognosis, how much time does it take, for example, in Russia to adapt to this fully change from gasoline cars to electric?
Yeah. I don't think no country will fully change everything, right? I think like both electric and traditional gasoline cars will actually live together, and especially those cars that they are already in the road, so you are not going to decommit them, like, so they will be living. And there will be still people, even if they are cheaper to buy electric vehicle, they will prefer to buy a gasoline car. So it depends. So probably the interesting question is how much can take just to reach some level of penetration, like 20%, maybe 30%, 40%. So if you want to reach 100%, it will probably take maybe hundreds of years, or I don't know.
For example, 20 or 40%.
Yes, it is a very complicated question, right? I think probably, but this is a guess. I think probably can take between 5 to 10 years just to reach about 20%. But it is very complicated. It's a very delicate question. I can give you some number, for example, for car sharing. So car sharing, if you know, like this is very popular for Yandex, or Belka, Delimovil. Right now, Moscow is the largest city in the world that hosts this car sharing. This is crazy. And right now, in the street, there are 30,000 vehicles for car sharing. And this was expected, so there was this McKinsey report. This 30,000 was expected to be in 2023. But from the last year to this year, so they already reached, in 2020, they reached the 30,000. So this is kind of unexpected. So there will be a moment like maybe a new brand, a new Chinese brand come here with a very good car, electrical one, so probably you can see that very soon.
Спасибо большое, Дэвид. Я предлагаю переместиться в Каир. Махали, ты с нами?